بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. So it is the jurisprudential maxims, قواعد الفقهية for those who are new. We have قواعد الفقهية and we have المسألة الفقهية. المسألة الفقهية. What is the difference between مسألة and قاعدة? قاعدة is a maxim. Assalamu alaikum. قاعدة is a maxim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. While this one is an issue, a fiqhi issue, what is the difference between them? How you define them? Especially those who were here from before. How do we distinguish between mas'ala? Because this is very important. To be able to distinguish between a specific issue and a maxim. What is the difference between them?
So maxim is a general rule that leads you to the specific solution.
Exactly. The maxim is a general ruling that contributes to finding this. So this is much smaller than this. This is general, this is specific. This one addresses one issue, specific issue, narrow issue, while this one sets the rule for many issues like that. So this is the mother, this is the child. That's the difference between them. Okay, now this is the difference. So Arish, we have قواعد means maxims, قواعد الفقهية, jurisprudential maxims, and we have مسألة which is a specific issue, a specific ruling. This is a specific ruling. This is general. This is like a law. You are a lawyer. You must know this. This is a law where you derive from it many specific rulings. You derive from this. This is the mother. This is the child. Okay. What is the difference between القواعد الفقهية and القواعد الأصولية? This is fiqhiyya, this is usuliyya. What's the difference between them? There are two main differences. We mentioned this. There is a difference between the fiqhi maxims, jurisprudential, and the usuli maxims. What is the difference between them?
Usul comes from asl, so it's a general principle.
Fundamental.
Both of them are general. Both of them are general principles. Both. Okay? But
it's where they apply. The usuli applies to different all the situations.
Exactly. The fiqhi maxim is a general one. However, it has to be from the same category. The ruling, the mas'ala has to be from the same category. In this one, it does not have to be from the same category. I'll give you an example to clarify this. This one, al-qa'ida al-fiqhiyya, I'll give you an example. One of these maxims is qa'idatul tahara, the maxim of a purity. The maxim of a purity, Arish, addresses a specific issue, which is a purity, tahara, whether this is tahir or non-tahir. What does it say? It says everything is pure for you unless you know otherwise. Everything. You come across any object, book, your iPhone marker, is this tahir or not? Yes, it says. Unless you know najasa, impurity has touched this, reached to this, then you avoid it or you clean your hand. Otherwise, you don't have to go and wash your hand every time you touch something. You assume that it is pure, unless you know it is not. So it addresses the issues of what? Purity and non-purity, but not other issues. Not the prayers, for instance. Has nothing to do with the prayers. Has nothing to do with fasting. Has nothing to do with Hajj. Has nothing to do with charity. Has nothing to do with, only in that area. Whereas this one, the usuli maxims, you can apply them in every field in fiqh. Such as what? Give me an example of a maxim. Usuli maxim, not fiqh, usuli. What do we discuss in usul? General tools. We always give this example that a surgeon uses some tools in every surgery. In every surgery, he has to have these tools. And this is what we discuss in ilm al-usul. The general tools, not the specific. Specific ones, we discuss them in fiqh because they are limited, confined to one area. While the usuli, no, these are tools that are public and general. You use them in every mas'ala. Such as what? Such as hujjiyat khabar al-thiqa, the validity of the news, the riwayah that someone trustworthy brings. Do we accept it or not? It says yes. You must accept it if he's trustworthy. If he's thiqa. If he's thiqa and trustworthy, then you must, even if the riwayah is narrated by one person. Only one person says, I heard the Prophet, I heard the Imam. Only one person, not two, not three, not four. But because that person is trustworthy, he doesn't lie, then we treat his narration, Salaam alaikum, we treat his narration as what? As valid. The validity of his narration. This is a maxim, usuli maxim. You use it in every mas'ala. Why? Because in every mas'ala, in every issue, you need to have evidence. And that evidence either Quran or riwayah hadith. And in order for the riwayah to be credible, you need to examine the chain of what? Narrators. Chain of narrators. So if in that chain is only one person, he says, An Abi Abdullah. His name is Safwan, and he says, I heard the Imam. And we searched, and there is no other narrator. No other narrator. So should we accept him or not? If he's trustworthy, if his history is clean, his record is clean, yes, we accept him. If he's not trustworthy, no, because he's one. So this is hujjiyat khabar al-thiqa, the validity, hujjiyat khabar al-thiqa, the validity of the news of the trustworthy. The narration of the trustworthy. This is a maxim. This is called a maxim. The validity of the narration of the trustworthy. Even though he's only one, but we have to accept his trustworthiness, his hujjiyah. It's called hujjiyah, validity. This is an usuli maxim. So my question to you, all of you, is this hujjiyat khabar al-thiqa, is it used in only one mas'ala, one issue, or in many? In every, not just in many. In every mas'ala we discuss this. In every mas'ala we look at the evidence. And the evidence, most of it are either Quran or riwayah. then we have to look at the riwayah. Is the riwayah sahiha? Is it muwathaqa? Is it dha'ifa? Do we accept it? Do we take it? Or we reject it? So we use this maxim in every mas'ala. Almost in every mas'ala. 99%. So this is not like this one. This one, this maxim here, قواعد الفقهية, addresses one area, such as the area of salat, such as the area of purity, such as once Dr. Umid, he went, I think, to Najaf or Qom, and he heard them saying the lesson that he took here. Did you go there? He came to me, he was very happy, alhamdulillah. So he compared himself to other scholars that they are. Was it in Qom or in Najaf? In Najaf, yeah. So it was the maxim of conclusion, قاعدة الفراغ.
Yes.
قاعدة الفراغ. What does it say, Arash, قاعدة الفراغ? It says very simply for you and Sister Atiyah. It says the maxim of conclusion that once you conclude, this is regarding the prayers. You conclude either the prayers completely and then you have doubt. Did I mess up in the second rak'ah, in the third one, in the fourth one, in the first one? Did I do sujood? Did I do ruku'? Did I do qira'ah? Then if you have finished the prayers, you say yes. You don't go back. That's it. You assume that you did it correctly. Or partially, not completely. You finished the first rak'ah. Now you are in the second one. You started the recitation of hamd in the second one. And then you say, did I do ruku' in the first rak'ah or not? I skipped the ruku'. Here you say, I concluded. You say it's correct. This is qa'idatul faragh. We have qa'idatul sahha. We have many. If you go back to the recordings, we studied in the first semester, we studied maybe 10 or less than 10 probably, maxims. These maxims are specific. They are addressing either the purity, tahara, or non-purity, or the prayers, or the fasting, or the hajj, or others. While these one are general. They interfere. We use them in every issue, in every mas'ala. So this is the difference between them. What is the second difference between this قواعد الفقهية and قواعد الأصولية? عطية, very briefly. قاعدة, not قاعدة and ISIS, has nothing to do with that. The plural is قواعد. The singular is قاعدة. قاعدة means maxim, a maxim, okay? And we have قاعدة and we have مسألة. What is the difference between قاعدة and مسألة? In the مسألة الفقهية, it's a specific issue. We address an answer. Is this halal or haram? Is this pure or impure? Is this okay or not okay? This is mas'ala. While qaida is a general law, where we derive from this general law, we derive many specific laws. So this is the mother, this is the son. This is general, this is specific. And then we have jurisprudential maxims, fiqhiyya, and we have usuliyya, principled maxims. What is the difference between them? There are two main differences. By the way, in fiqh, we study both. We study fiqh and usul. Fiqh and usul. Fiqh is specific, usul is general. In usul, we study general tools. And I gave this example in the past many times. That imagine there is a surgeon doing surgeries. In these surgeries, there are general tools and there are specific tools. General tools are used in every surgery from A to Z. Whereas the specific tools are used in specific surgeries. For instance, surgery for the eyes, it has tools different from the surgery for the knees. These are called fiqhi. It's like the fiqhi mas'ala. While the general ones, where you use it for the eyes, for the brain surgery, for the knee surgery, it's called usuli. It's general. This is the comparison between usul and fiqh. So fiqh is a specific tools, while usul is general and wider tools. Just to get some recap from the past, because this is important. It's very important that we know what we are talking about. Do you have Wa'zi? Any question? Any?
No, I do not so.
Okay. So we said the first difference between fiqhiyya and usuliyya, I'll make it very easy. That in the fiqhiyya we study maxims that are from the same category and they apply to the same category. So when we speak about the maxim of a purity, it only applies to issues of a purity, not other issues. You can't take it and borrow it and use it in other areas. You can't. While in the qawa'id al-usuliyya, you use maxims that you can borrow it and use it and utilize it in every area. That's the first difference. What is the second difference? Which I mentioned 3 months ago.
For the usul, you need the faqih, mujtahid.
Exactly.
Come up with those
Exactly.
qawaid. While the others
And in the fiqh, what do you need? Give me an example. Say it again, Nadeem. Say it again, slowly, so they can follow you. So tell me, in this, in qawa'id al-usuliyya and qawa'id al-fiqhiyya, what's the second difference between them?
So in order to come up with the qaida,
With a maxim
you
or
need
with an
ijtihad,
answer.
you need ijtihad.
In which one you need
For the
ijtihad?
usul.
For the usul, you need a mujtahid, an expert to tell you the result. Whereas in the qawa'id al-fiqhiyya, you can get the result. You don't need help from him. Give me an example. We have to use examples. Without examples, you don't get it, believe me. You must bring an example to make it easy for you. For this one, you need an expert to tell you the result. You can't get it by yourself. With that one, qawa'id al-fiqhiyya, jurisprudential maxims, you don't need an expert. The theory is there, you just apply it.
If something's tahir or not.
Exactly. The jurisprudential maxims, one of them is qa'idat al-tahara. Okay, the maxim of purity. It says, listen, you don't need every time to call the faqih and ask him. The maxim is telling you everything is pure unless you know otherwise. Okay? So you come to the classroom, you come to your room, you go to a restaurant, you go to anywhere, in the airplane, the seat of the airplane that you're going to sit on it for 17 hours. Enjoy your flight, 17 hours. Is this clean or not? What should I do? How do I? Yeah, it says yes, it's clean. Even though millions of people travel, some of them Buddhists, some of them atheists, some of them they drink wine, some of them they cowboys, some of them are, but still the seat, if you don't know anything about it, you have not seen any drop of urine, alcohol, blood, then you treat the seat as being tahir. Unless you have seen something. Seen something not just suspicious, no. You know this is blood, I know this is blood. This is urine, I know. This is alcohol, wine. Then this is najis. So you don't have to call the mujtahid to know the answer. You can apply it yourself. Whereas this one, this is not your job. This is the job of the mujtahid, the expert. Unless you become an expert yourself, you can answer it. If you are not an expert, such as what?
And trustworthy.
Exactly. Such as the chain of narrators. Do we accept this riwayah or we reject it? I really don't know. I have to ask the expert because this is his field, not my field. So this is the second difference. Are we done with that? Now we come to a new we come to a new maxim tonight. And this maxim is written on the board. And the maxim is called التسامح. تسامح means tolerance. في أدلة السنن. أدلة, evidence, evidences of things that are recommended, recommendations, or mustahab. 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 What does that mean? What does this maxim mean? التسامح, being easy, being tolerant, taking it easy, تسامح. في أدلة السنن, when it comes to the evidence of the riwayat that speaks about mustahabbat, not wajibat, mustahabbat. You take it easy on that. You don't investigate deeper. Why? See, my friends, we have wajib and mustahab, yes? Don't we? Wajib such as what? Give me example of wajib.
Prayer.
Prayers, fasting, hajj, zakat. These are things that are, or things that are haram, such as what? Alcohol, wine, alcohol, fornication, theft, bribery, blah, 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 many things, murder. Okay? These things, whether they are obligatory, wajib, or forbidden, you need to verify the evidence before you say this is halal or haram. You need to solidify the evidence. It has to be solidified. You have to be sure 100% of what you are saying. When you say this is wajib, mandatory, or this is forbidden, you have to be sure 100%. Why? Because this is important. If it is forbidden, you are depriving people from it. So you have to tell them, yes, my evidence is very clear and I am sure of the evidence. Such as lobster now. Some people say it's halal, some people say it's haram. Those who say it's halal, he says, I am 100% sure that it is halal. Those who say it's forbidden, again they say, I am 100% sure that this is forbidden. Okay? They are confident of what they say. Because this is regarding halal and haram. But when it comes to recommendations, mustahab, they take it easy on that. They don't use the same standards that they use with the halal and haram. They use a lesser standards. Are you with me? Dr. Omid, you need a cup of coffee. I know it's 6 a.m. your time, or 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. I had 3 cups of coffee before I came. So, for the mustahab or the makruh, they say we don't use the same stringent standards. We take it easy. Why? Tell me why. Why they don't use the same standards that they use them for the halal and haram and wajib. Wajib or haram. They don't use the same. They take it, they become more relaxed.
Everything to do with God wanting life to be not any tough.
Mm-hmm. Because this is mustahab. If you don't do it, you don't do it. But with the wajib, if you don't do the wajib, you are in trouble. You will be held accountable. Whereas for the mustahab, I'll give you an example. Salatul Fajr is mandatory. If you don't do it, you will be accountable. But Nafilatul Fajr, the 2 rak'ah before Salat, if you don't do it, nothing happens. You don't make a credit. but you are not held accountable. Okay? When it comes to haram and makruh, for the haram, if you practice something haram and do it, you will be held accountable. There is punishment. But for the makruh, if you do it, there is no punishment. You don't get more points. You get less points. You lose some points, but you are not punished. This is the difference. This is why when it comes to wajib, mandatory, or haram, forbidden, they are very strict. They have to bring the evidence and they have to be sure that the evidence is 100%. Whereas for the mustahab, 60%, 70%, sometimes 40%. He says, well, I don't know. I think this is mustahab. But for the wajib, he cannot say, I think. He says, I'm sure this is wajib. I'm sure this is haram. Because wajib, mandatory and forbidden, they entail punishments if you don't do them or if you do them, if you do the haram. Whereas the mustahab and makruh, there is no punishment. You don't make a credit. So it's not that much serious. Therefore, they have a maxim. The maxim says, when it comes to the mustahab, we take it easy. We have tolerance. Are you with me? Did you get the idea? Did you get the idea? They don't investigate the riwayah that much. They go easy on it. So even if the riwayah is not very credible and the riwayah speaks about something mustahab, they still accept it. Even if the riwayah is not 100% credible. It's a little bit shaky. Still they accept it. Why? Because it says, do something mustahab, not something wajib. They take it easy on it. Why? Why do you think?
There is no harm to it. You can only...
Not only there is no harm, but also if there is mustahab. I'll give you an example. The riwayah says, let's say if you give charity to someone, sadaqah, charity, God is going to replace you with a house, let's say, in paradise. And the riwayah, someone said it, one person. There is no second, no third. And that person, his history is not very, very clean. It's not very clean. He's not very trustworthy. But he said the riwayah. Should we now pay charity in order for us to get the house there? Or I should know, say, throw this. This is not credible, so I'm not going to use it. Which one? Why? Tell me why.
You benefit from it. You'll benefit from it.
You may benefit from it.
Yeah.
You may benefit because the hadith says, there is an evidence here. The hadith from our imams, Imam al-Sadiq says, if you receive a news, riwayah, that says do something mustahab, whether prayers, whether charity, whether fasting, whether visiting a friend, visiting a patient, helping someone, saving someone, and you're going to get such and such and such reward. And if you practice that riwayah, you practice it, and then it turns to be, no, the riwayah is baseless, you still get that thawab. Are you with me? Because you were hoping to get the reward when you did this. But then it turned to be after 20 years, you realize that this is a liar. The one who said the riwayah is a liar. The Imam never said this. The Imam says, you will still receive the thawab. Because your intention was good. Your intention was to make a credit for your akhirah. So it's not going to go in vain. Even if the riwayah is a lie, is baseless, but you still get credit. Are you with me?
Is there a limitation on this type of stuff? I mean,
No limitation.
Maybe,
No limitation. You don't have to do it. Sometimes the riwayah, my friends, sometimes the riwayah, it's too much. Gives you too much promise. Very generous. let's say if you feed a hungry person, then God is going to build 1 million mansions for you in paradise. It's obviously this is, it's not reasonable. 1 million, what do you do with 1 million? And beside feeding one person, you are not feeding the whole town. So these riwayat, some people don't believe in them, they don't practice them. They don't. But even, let's say, someone who says, I believe in this riwayah.
Right.
The hadith says that if you do that, then still God is going to reward you. Even if the riwayah is weak, is not credible, is not authentic. But because of your good intention, God is still going to reward you.
I don't know.
It is, yeah. This is why some people, but this is a maxim. This maxim is genuine maxim. It's a genuine maxim. But some people say, even though that I am promised that if I practice this riwayah, I'm going to get the reward, I'm not going to do this act. I don't buy the riwayah.
But just because you can accept so many of them that everything was mixed together, the actual and the non-actual, and the traditional,
Exactly.
after a while.
This is why this is, though it is mashhura, very popular, mashhur among the jurists, this is very popular. It's considered one of the fundamentals, but yet it is controversial. It is popular, but yet controversial, as we're going to study. Okay? And this type of riwayat, it has a nickname. Nicknamed what? It nicknamed إذا بلغ. إذا بلغ. Once. You receive. You receive. Once you receive a news, a riwayah, about doing something, mustahab, not wajib. Don't get confused. Mustahab. And you will get such and such reward for it, then you will get the reward, even if the riwayah turns to be not right. Let me recite one of these riwayats for you. صحيحة صفوان عن أبي عبد الله. This is صحيحة. This riwayah is صحيحة. صحيحة. What does صحيحة mean, my friends?
Correct.
Yeah, correct. But what is the interpretation of correct?
None.
Huh? صحيحة. صحيحة صفوان. The narrator is called صفوان عن أبي عبد الله. Who's Abu Abdullah? Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq. Abi Abdullah. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. Sahiha, it means the entire chain of narrators are imamis and trustworthy. So this is Sahiha, beyond controversy. What does it say? It says, Man balaghahu, whoever receives the news, the riwayah, شيء من الثواب على شيء من الخير فعمل به كان له أجر ذلك. If you receive a riwayah that tells you if you do something good, you would receive such and such reward for it, and then you practice this riwayah, you do that thing which is good in order for you to get the credit, but وَإِنْ كَانَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ لَمْ يُقِلْهُ. Even if the Prophet did not say this, you find later on, after investigation, that this riwayah, which promised you to get such and such and such, is baseless. The Prophet never said it, never uttered this. But you did. Despite that you did that amal, that action, you still get the reward. You still get the reward. Okay? The second Sahiha, Sahihat Hisham. There is another Sahiha, my friends. Sahihat Hisham. His name is Hisham ibn Salim, and from the same Imam, an Abi Abdullah, As-Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam, which says to the same effect. It says, Man sami'a shay'an min al-thawabi ala shay'in. Whoever hears shay'an, something, riwayah means, that promises you thawab, reward, on doing a specific thing, فَصَنَعَهُ, and then you practice that thing, كَانَ لَهُ, you will get the reward, وَإِن لَمْ يَكُنْ عَلَى مَا بَلَغَهُ, even if the riwayah is not authentic. You still get the thawab for that. Okay? And there are other riwayats also. We have a concept, my friends, in fiqh. This concept is called Raja'ul Matlubiyya. Sometimes we hear that, in some good work, good deeds, charity, helping, visiting imams, doing this tasbih, reciting this. For instance, now, I'll give you an example. Every chapter in the Quran, how many chapters we have? 114. Every chapter, if you go to the tafsir, it tells you if you recite Surah Al-Waqi'ah every day, you get such and such and such and such. If you recite Surah Yasin, you get this and this. If you recite Surah At-Tariq, if you recite Surah Al-Baqarah, go and look at. And some people, they sit at home and they have nothing, alhamdulillah. Like many Muslim countries, most of them are unemployed. And they recite these chapters, hoping, they call it Raja'ul Matlubiyya. Raja, hoping. Raja means hoping. Al-Matlubiyya, that this is really what is wanted by God. Matlub, what is asked by God. This is called Raja'ul Matlubiyya, this concept, my friends. This is very popular concept. If you search, if you Google it, you will find this is very popular, that sometimes you are not sure of this thawab, but despite that, you do it. Because it's something good, it's not something damaging. It's Quranic recitation, dua recitation, helping someone, giving charity. It's not something damaging or hurting anyone. And you seeking Raja'ul Matlubiyya. Okay? Then you still get the thawab, even though this riwayah is not authentic. Even though the riwayah is not authentic. Raja'ul Matlubiyya, and some people say Mahbubiyya also, because this is something favored. Now, there is one issue here, and we conclude. If someone makes a vow, nadhr, if God cures me from this illness, if God solves this problem for me, if God gets me, green card, citizenship, wife, house, job, whatever, then I will, let's say, fast for 30 days. I'll fast Rajab and Sha'ban and whatever. Okay? I'll pay this amount charity. I'll sponsor 10 orphans. I will go for the ziyarah. I will help a neighbor. Things like that. Nadhr. Okay? You make a vow. And now you make the vow. Alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullah. And you hear that a riwayah, it says, if you go for the ziyarah of your Muslim neighbor, you will get such and such thawab. It is mustahab. It is mustahab to visit your neighbor, let's say on Wednesday morning. Let's say on Wednesday morning, it is very recommended, very mustahab. It's a good act to visit your Muslim neighbor. And you made a vow that if God solves the problem for you, you're going to do a mustahab act. Mustahab act. You're going to fulfill something mustahab. And God, He solved the problem for you. So this is an act. The riwayah says it's mustahab to visit a Muslim neighbor on Wednesday morning. And you go and visit this Muslim neighbor. Is your vow fulfilled here or not?
No. I mean, is it fulfilled or should it be fulfilled? So if the intention to do the vow when he went and visited?
Let me say it very simple. Atiyah, listen to me. Someone made a vow. Once we made a vow, nadhr, we have to fulfill it. It's wajib, becomes mandatory. If I make a vow that Allah save my son, my daughter, my house, my car, I'm in an accident, save me, I will fast 10 days, okay? If He saves me, I should fast 10 days. I can't run away from it. It's a vow, nadhr. And then I know that I made a vow, I heard the riwayah, it says visiting a Muslim neighbor, let's say, on Wednesday morning is recommended, a very recommended act, mustahab. So I made a vow with God, God, if you solve this problem for me, I will do a mustahab act. A mustahab act. I did not specify. Then He fulfilled the vow for me. Alhamdulillah, my son is cured. Now, and I read a riwayah, story, narration, about visiting the Muslim friend, neighbor on Wednesday morning. If I visit him, did I fulfill my vow or not? If yes, why? If not, why? According to this maxim. We are speaking about the maxim. The maxim that says when it comes to mustahabbat, you don't take it easy on the evidence. Take it easy. Even if the evidence is not credible, still do that mustahab.
So if he did it, that's good, we get credit, but if he didn't, it doesn't count against him.
Definitely doesn't count against him. Definitely.
But it's not counted toward his
Ah.
vow.
Is it counted? This is the question. Very specific.
I'm saying if he does it,
If you visit your neighbor on Wednesday morning, have you fulfilled your nadhr or you owe? Because you don't know whether this is really mustahab or not. You don't know. Sometimes the riwayah is sahiha, is 100% credible. So you go ahead and you visit him and you have fulfilled your vow. But if the riwayah is shaky,
we said earlier,
Yeah,
assume
no,
that's
but
okay, yeah.
huh?
It's okay.
It based on this, yeah, it's counted.
Yeah?
I would say.
The answer is no. Fulfilling the thing is wajib.
Exactly, see?
Fulfilling things.
Be sharp. We learn sharpness in this class. This one is not telling you that the riwayah is right or wrong, necessarily right or wrong. This one is telling you, this maxim, it tells you even if the riwayah is wrong, you still get credit. But it does not say that when you made a vow, you have an obligation, okay? In order for you to fulfill the obligation 100%, you have to make sure that the act that you are doing is also 100% authentic.
Oh, so this one you have to make sure it's authentic.
But say, how would you know that if it's a mustahab? You said in your nadhr you said that it was going to be a mustahab act.
Yeah.
You didn't say you were going to do a wajib act. You said
Exactly.
You
Mustahab, exactly.
And every mustahab act is
No,
not
because the riwayah is not authentic. Sometimes it's not mustahab. Someone made it up. Someone was unemployed and he wanted to just go and have a coffee with his neighbor. So he made up a riwayah that if you visit a neighbor on Wednesday morning. Some of them, they would sit in the coffee house and make up riwayats. So this does not mean that you have, yes, probably you get the reward. As far as this maxim is concerned, you might get the reward because I followed the maxim. Still the riwayah is baseless, but because I followed the maxim, I get the reward. But whether I have fulfilled the vow or not, that's a different issue. Because the vow entails mustahab which is credible, not mustahab which could be baseless. Are you with me? Do you see the difference or not? I don't want you to be confused. I want you to be sharp on this.
But how do you, for a mustahab?
Mustahab because there are riwayat that are authentic, 100% powerful, sahiha, muwathaqa, speaks about some mustahab acts.
As I mentioned
The
earlier,
Prophet mentioned them, the Imams mentioned them. They are authentic, sahiha. Sahiha, powerful. We are not speaking about that type of riwayat. We are speaking about the riwayat which are shaky. Sometimes it becomes baseless. But still the Sharia says, still do that act. We will give you the credit. Even though the narrator is a liar. He's a liar. And he might be punished, huh? He might be punished. Because he made up the riwayah. But the people who practice the riwayah, they might get reward. Because their intention was raja'ul matlubiyah. We do this, maybe God will give me.
and so for a vow, this one has to be, make sure it's credible, it's authentic, the riwayah.
Exactly. The vow, when you make a vow that I'm going to do something mustahab, you have to make sure that this mustahab act is authentic. Sharia said this is mustahab. Not that you don't know about the source, you don't know about the narration, you don't know about the riwayah. You must make sure that the act is mustahab. Such as what? I'll give you an example. Like Ziyarat al-Imam al-Hussein. Beyond controversy, beyond any doubt, it is mustahab. Not just mustahab, mustahab mu'akkad, an accentuated mustahab, to visit Imam Hussein or visit any Imam that is ma'soom, because there are many riwayat. All of them are there. But to visit, let's say,
Prophets.
a neighbor on, it's not mustahab, on any day. There is no riwayah that says. Huh?
Neighbor will say it.
Maybe. A neighbor who's sick, yes.
No,
But
say it.
say it? No, I don't think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. A neighbor who's say it? No. Who says this? Yes, someone who's sick, you visit him, yes, there is mustahab. There is credible. But just to visit any neighbor, it's a good act. But it is not no riwayah said, yes, go and visit the neighbor and we will give you this and this and this. So to fulfill your vow, you have to make sure that that act which is mustahab is authentically mustahab, not just fabrication. وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد.